people are always shocked with Job because of the way he speaks to God. Not even what he's saying, like not the content of his speech, but just the tone, you know?
Yeah.
So I find it interesting.
Yeah, Job gets really close to the point of asking the question, is God incompetent or is he cruel? That is he sadistic? These are the classic Gnostic questions, and he
Right.
gets really close to asking them.
He does. Yeah. And I mean, how can you find out if those things are true or not if you don't ask the question? Like, you know what I'm saying? If you just, steer clear of it because it might make, your pastor uncomfortable or somebody in your church uncomfortable. But back in the back of your mind, you're thinking it all the time, and yet you don't believe God loves you enough to hear that out of your mouth. Like, if my children thought something ill of me and never approached me with it and said, Mom, listen, is this what you're doing? And I never had an opportunity to say, no, let me tell you how this is. I know what it looks like, but it's not what it seems. And this is what God's speech is about, right? I know what it looks like, but it's not what it seems. If my children never approached me and asked me those questions, how could I ever explain they would have a false image of who I am?
Yeah, Elihu tells Job, look up. Do you see the clouds? Do you not see that they're above you? He's saying, like, there's a higher order to this whole thing. Like, your little immediate experience exists within the context of nested layers of reality. Mm-hmm. And what's ultimately good may not be immediately good for you in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's what Job needed in order to, like, restore that inner coherence that enables that faith to persist.
Well, see,
I think he was running on willpower.
I came to the conclusion that righteousness, in light of the book of Job, is integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's that integrity that we have to cling to, and that gives us the capability to actually have a personal relationship with God, right? Because then we can be authentic with God. We can, just read the Psalms.
Yeah.
Like nothing is forbidden in the Psalms. Everything is expressed.
Can you elaborate a little bit about what you're talking? Like, because I know, like, when you say integrity, like, do you have a very specific idea?
It's who you really are, right? Integer is whole, right? To be complete, to be whole. And it is, to me anyway, it is the image of God inside of us, right? And it's that which connects us, like, which makes us his children, right?
It doesn't look any one way that you can apply universally to all persons.
And it's also not dual, right? Like, you're not, it's a non-dual, like, it's not like, you're not deliberating. Maybe it's even close to the natural will that Maximus talks about, right? Where like, Job doesn't deliberate about how he's going to speak to God. He doesn't say, well, I'd like to say this, but I know it's probably not good, so I'll say it like that. He just says, right? He speaks from his, I don't know what you want to call it.
He's being who he is.
Who he really is.
That's what it, and you can't have integrity if you aren't being who you really are, because it defies the notion of integrity. If you're just like putting everything through a filter or a mask, and you're not being the person that you truly are, then you have no integrity.
Well, okay, here's something interesting now that's just coming to my mind, because George MacDonald talks about having faces, right? Until we have faces, which is where C.S. Lewis gets it. And in Judaism, being oriented towards God is being face to face with God, right? Facing. And I've thought, I'm still thinking about that whole concept. But there's something about the face that is, it's a unity of multiplicity, right? So it's the person, it's who we are. And Job asks constantly for face to face with God in the book. I want a face to face, and that's not by chance. That's not just a colloquial phrase, because people then knew what that meant. Like, you can't see my face and live, right? So I think this also points towards integrity, right? I want my face, the who I am, wants to have a conversation with the I am, right? I am wants to talk
face your
to
accuser.
I am.
Face to face also implies a level of equality too, because you don't, like in the ancient world, you don't have a conversation face to face with your superior. You don't look your superior, your hierarchical superior in the eye.